Something else I'd like to go over when we are prototyping our sites, because this is one long scrolling site, we generally want to make sure and ensure that our navigation stays at the top. So we can do that a couple ways. I'm just going to kind of show you a couple examples or a couple ways we can do it and why one might work and might not. So what we do want to ensure that we do is group that navigation, and we always want to make sure it's over on the top layer. I'm going to leave it there because just want to show you something before. So if I leave it here and I set this as sticky, stay at this top edge, that totally works. But I just want to show you what happens if we don't have that as our top layer. So if I'm scrolling through, you can see what happened with that button. So that button is now going on top of that navigation, which is something we do not want. So we want to make sure if we use that sticky, we need to manually make sure that the navigation stays at top. Something else that you might want to, if you're unsure what that sticky stays at the top edge might be, I'll just show you a little test here. I'm going to say sticky stay at the top. I'm going to move that back above so you can see what's happening. And if we press play, so that means that that element is going to scroll until that element hits the top of the page, and then it will stay. So see what happens here. So now it's scrolled with the page, but then once it hit the top, it stopped. So for a navigation, that works. There are instances where you might need to just ensure that something does say sticky and then stop at that top moment, or stop at that top edge. But again, if we choose to use sticky, we need to manually ensure that navigation's up at the top. If, for instance, for navigation, we can say fix, stay in place, that means that's not going anywhere. It's going to stay there. So maybe we have a base navigation or a footer navigation or this type of navigation where it's already at the top. If I say fixed, stay in place, you can see what happens here over on my layers. I'm just going to undo that and show again. Fixed, stay in place. If you watch over onto my layers section, it sets all of the fixed elements on that top layer. So you don't need to manually bring that to the top, of course, unless you have a few things that are fixed. As is, navigation immediately goes up the top, and that stays in place when we are choosing to navigate through our sites.